everyone. Now today we are welcoming Faya, right? So
Faya,
I'm
yeah.
having some pronunciation problem with her name, I guess. Last 10 years I didn't learn her name actually. Um, Welcome.
Thank
Now
you
tell
so
us
much,
where you
Funda.
are now. And now what time is it in your country?
It is 10 p.m.
Well, 10 p.m. Now we
Yeah.
are 5. Actually, as I wrote on my LinkedIn profile, and you studied in United Kingdom. Which,
Yes, I did.
can you tell us about you and your story, please?
Okay. So basically, if we want to look at when I went to the United Kingdom, I started off my first exposure to the United Kingdom was when I was in primary school. So this was when I was, I think, 10 or maybe younger than 10. So we lived there for 5 years, and basically that's where I first started to, had classmates who had to speak English, who didn't speak my language, so I had no other choice but to speak English. Um, After that, I went to university in the UK. Again, in university I did my degree in the Midlands, and then I did my master's in Scotland, and all of those is a variety of English speaker with different accents. So that was really interesting. One of the main thing I loved about being in the UK was that whichever place you go, even though they do speak English, but it would have been a different accent. So the challenge for me was always trying to understand the accent and not exactly understand the English. Your question, tell me about myself. Okay. So a quick one is I am currently a lecturer. I'm a tourism and hospitality lecturer, and one of the reason why I've always encouraged my students to take multiple language, not just English, but take on different types of language. It's because um, what I teach tourism, it's a global industry, and you meet with people from all around the world. You meet people who speak all different language, who comes from different culture, and I think having a common something in common with them, whether it's language, whether it's understanding what they're saying or what they want, it's very important for you to communicate with each other. Definitely.
Actually, can you just tell me? I'm really curious, and I know
Mm-hmm.
a bit about that. But when the first day in
Mm-hmm.
UK, how was it? And also, what I wonder is, I mean, do you really feel 100% confident about your English? So you speak simply or avoid conversation when you were in English for
Oh,
your first.
okay. Let me think back because I was in the first time I was in the UK when I was a young kid. So I think you introduced me earlier that I come from Brunei. So in Brunei we
Mhm.
actually speak English as a second language. So even before I went to the UK, I had exposure and I did learn to speak English when I was in kindergarten. So when I went to the UK, my concern wasn't about trying to understand them because I understood English. My concern then was like I was afraid they didn't understand me. That's what I was afraid of. Like I could understand them speaking English, but I was like thinking, well, what if they don't understand what I say? What if my English is different from their English and they didn't know what I was saying? So and this is when I was a little girl, so you could imagine the pressure. um but luckily when we were staying in the UK the first time, we lived in a small community, and a lot of them were Asian community, so most of them were non-English speaker. And I went to a great primary school. So what the primary school did was, because they knew that a lot of us were non-native English speakers. So the school had a rule: you had to speak English if you were in the school. So even though it's break time, you still had to speak English. So even though, for example, we had a lot of Malaysians, I had friends who were Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi. And even though, like, for example, if it was during break and I would be hanging out with my Malaysian friends, I won't speak Malay. I would still speak English, which I think was a great idea for the school. And the reason why they did this was, they felt that if you were to speak in your mother tongue, then you don't make any friends, because the only friends you will make is the people who will speak that language, right? So they encourage the students, and this is in when when I was in primary school, they encourage everyone to speak English, so everyone will understand and everyone can be friends with each other. You could get to know people when you're having your break. You get to understand what their discussion is about, as opposed to just not knowing what they're saying because you don't understand the language. So I went to a great school, and I'm thankful for that.
So, I mean, when you were in primary school, you were learning this language as
Yes.
a second language. So that means you were not afraid of to speak this language. But even
No.
though you were afraid of it, okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
it was fun. It was fun.
okay. Well, were you frustrated because you forget words? Oh my god, I just
Yeah.
forget it. Oh my goodness, I just forget
Yeah.
it. Did you feel,
Definitely.
oh, I must say something else? Oh, no,
I
no,
still do that.
no, not
I
that
still
word.
do that. I still forget words. And I do this sometimes when I'm teaching. I forget the words in English. All of a sudden I'm like, wait, I don't know what's the English word. I do this when I'm teaching on a daily basis, and sometimes, and it's not because you don't know it, because you just sometimes you forget, right? And I still do this when I'm working, when I'm teaching my students, and all of a suddenly I forget a word. I'm thankful now that we have Google. So when I forget, I take my phone. I'm like, what's that word? Like, I know the Malay word for it, but I don't know what's the English word. So I quickly type Google and I found out what it is. So I'm thankful for technology. But even when we didn't have Google, when I was younger in the UK, and when I forgot a word, um, what I do is, I would just try to describe it. I would just try to describe what I'm trying to say, because there's no point in me just, you know, frustrating and not talking. So I'll express myself by describing the word that I'm having in my mind that's stuck in there. And that always helps.
Um, I'll tell a little story about me,
Yeah.
and one memory I never forget it. Arnie was my house owner. One day
Mm-hmm.
I said, I need to learn this language. I mean, it was my second week, uh, first day, I guess, first year.
Mm-mm.
And I just said, okay, Arne, just tell me how you did this. You speak like an American, how you handle this. And then he said, just pretend people. What? Pretend?
Mm.
What pretend? Because
Yeah.
he said, you always pretend everything. I was just 16, and what does pretend mean? He said, do something like I do. And then I said, well, it's fine, then let me try. So I'll give one clue to listeners, audience, that if you imitate things, if you just pretend like others, for example, when people speaking this language, the key is pronunciation. So I
Yeah.
think in United Kingdom, how did you feel, the pronunciation? Because when I was just learning this language, I
Mm-mm.
by Turkish native teachers.
Okay.
So there was no, accent. I mean, there was no
Mm-mm.
accent. So, I mean, I just want to tell you that. I mean, and the question is, did you have any mistakes, or I mean, did you have any problem with yeah, well, speaking with uh, British people because they have different accents.
Yes, they do.
Would you mind
They
repeating it?
do. They do. And imagine I was in Scotland. They had a way different accent from when you're in England. Um, that's the thing. One of the things I'm thankful for was because I had English as a second language, and I've always spoken English since kindergarten. So my concern wasn't about speaking English. My concern was about understanding their accent. But it does help to kind of listen to it and then try to follow how they say things. And in the end, you kind of you learn the accent while you're learning English. So I don't know if you realize, but I actually have just a little bit of an English accent because I had primary school in the UK. And so because when I was in the UK, when I was trying to improve my English, I would follow how my teachers speak. I would follow how my friends speak, and they would speak in an accent. So a little bit of that accent has stayed, and I tend to speak with a little bit of an English accent because I keep following them. Recently, I think it was a few years ago, I realized that my accent has changed a little bit into American because I watch a lot of American TV.
Ah,
You know when you watch a lot of shows and you try to follow what they're saying when you're watching shows. I had a little bit of an American accent because I was watching too much American TV.
that's nice. Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, my coaches in the London
Hmm.
are really just translating the language. Okay, Turkish language. Okay, transferring to English one. Okay, no,
Yes.
not this one. No, no, let's just not translate it. So, do you often had to think about grammar rules and translate in your head before you speak?
No, because it's different. Grammar, when we talk about grammar in English, it's usually the formal English, the one that you use to write your report, the one to use to write your formal letter. When you're speaking English, a lot of the time, I form sentences based on what I think make sense or it's understandable, and a lot of this is from listening to people speak the language. Like I said, watching a lot of English TV, whether it's American or British, those who are English speaking TV, when you listen to them, when you watch a lot of these shows and you listen and you repeat on how they formulate their sentences, it kind of sticks onto you. So, for example, when I want to say something, I don't think about the grammar. I don't think about when do I put a full stop? When do I put a comma? I don't think about that. When is it past tense? When is it present tense? Because when I say it, no one's going to tell. No, if I talk to you, for example, and I didn't put a past tense, right? You're not going to stop me and say, "Oh, no, no, no, your English is wrong." When we're speaking, what's important is as long as you understand what I'm saying and you know what I'm talking about.
Actually, there is one question, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. There are some hellos to you, and there are
Hello.
more people. So they're just really listening carefully, as I understood.
Is it correct if I say günaydın?
Günaydın. Okay. We have
Günaydın.
günaydın. No, it's not günaydın time. It's iyi
Oh, it's not.
akşamlar.
Oh, iyi
Günaydın.
akşamlar. Sorry.
So we have to mention that
Mm-hmm.
Farah is learning Turkish. Can you
Yes.
tell the reason why learning Turkish?
Yeah, for me it's like I said, I'm in tourism and hospitality, and in my field I meet a lot of peoples from different country, and I think it's important to learn other people's culture, to learn other people's language. And so I speak English, Malay, which is my mother tongue. At the same time, because our language is similar, I can also understand Indonesian, Singaporean, and Malaysian. But I've never taken up another language that was very different to my language or very different to English. So, I think everyone has this problem where they have too much free time because of COVID. That was me. I had too much free time because of COVID. And I came across an online Turkish course. So I
Mhm.
thought I'll take, it was a Turkish, how to speak Turkish. So I thought I'll take that course. So I'm learning a little bit of Turkish. So please forgive me if it's wrong because I've only gone to 3 classes and I haven't done my homework yet. So please forgive me.
Do you remember what I told you about tamam? Do you
Yes.
remember that I told you about tamam? So is it that
Yes.
so that it has many meanings and the usage
Yes.
for that?
For many
Uh,
different reasons and many scenarios. Yes, that was
so
interesting because what I learned. Hello.
you can write Turkish. She's trying to learn Turkish as well.
Yes, it's actually a really nice language. One way that I'm trying to learn Turkish better, I think it applies to if you're trying to learn English. It's you try to surround yourself with the language. So what I've done recently is I watch Turkish movie. I watch Turkish movie to help me uh learn the language. And I think it's the same for English. If you're trying to learn English, you try to speak English as much as you can. You try to um imitate, you try to watch English movies just so you absorb it more.
Uh, the thing is, when we met, by the way, we met in Sarıgerme, I guess, Faya, right?
We met in Dalaman.
Oh, yeah, the region was Sarıgerme.
Yes.
So the only person that I was speaking English was with Faya.
Yes, we
It
met
was
a long time ago.
maybe more than 10 years, I guess. So,
Almost 10 years, yes.
and well, I am just really wondering about
Mm-hmm.
the school life. Having English as a second language,
Yeah,
how has helped you to in adapting your school life in the United
my
Kingdom?
school life. Uh, it helps a lot because obviously when you're in school, not only do you have to speak in English, you also have to write in English. So a lot of people are afraid, especially if for a lot of students, their main concern is, oh, my writing, my writing, my writing, right? But and if you're a non-English speaker, your concern would be, oh, I have to speak English, I have to understand what the teacher is saying, and then I have to write it down. But how having English as a second language, because I was taught English in kindergarten up to primary school in Brunei, you learn English from kindergarten, primary, secondary school up until university. You take English, most of the subjects are taught in English. So when I was in university, I felt more confident. It did give me confidence in terms of doing my work because obviously, in terms of writing report, making sure it's grammatically correct or not, all of that you'll learn in university. Like you have lecturers, you have courses which helps you learn how to write properly, right? But because I was already speaking English and I was confident about speaking in English and conversing in English and understand, my lecturer who are teaching it in English. I didn't have to worry about that part. All I had to be worried was about writing it, which I can learn.
So there is one good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's good evening for me.
Yeah, well, it's so funny though. I think the guy must be from the another part, which is for them to good afternoon. For us, almost it's going to be evening. For you, good night.
Yeah.
what a lovely
Told me
word.
good night. Yes.
So one is, I think, let's read other questions now.
Okay.
Muzayyan is asking, how did you improve your English? You watch with film, read a book. Which one?
Both. I did both. I read a lot of books, English books, and I watch a lot of movies. And I speak English on a daily basis. So I would speak English basically here every day. I converse in English with my colleagues. I converse in English with my students. I converse so at home because with my family we mix Malay and English, so we call it Manglish. um Manglish, yes, it's Malay English. So it does help if you continue to speak in English.
Ah,
It
okay.
just practice makes it more. I wouldn't say practice makes perfect, but practice makes you more confident and you're more comfortable speaking it. Oh, I
Uh,
have one that's speaking in Malay. Selamat malam. Selamat malam. I am good. I am good.
what
Apa
does
kabar
mean?
means how are you? Selamat
Ah,
malam is good night. Apa kabar means is how are you? I am
okay.
good. Um, See, now I can't remember what I'm good means in Malay. I can remember the English. I can't remember the Malay. Apa kabar? Saya baik.
Okay. So thank you. She, okay, people wants to say hello, I guess. So they are
Hello.
hello. Let's let's show them. İngilizce. What does İngilizce mean? İngilizce. I think İngilizce like English, I guess.
Oh, English.
Yeah, I guess. So okay. How often? Let me see. Okay. How often do you use English in your day-to-day life in Brunei?
Every day, every day. So basically, like I mentioned, Brunei uses English as a second language. So, like things like road sign, you have English. Our road sign are in English. The shop signs are usually in English and Malay, and in Arabic writing. So English is used every day here. So for those who do wants to come to Brunei, don't worry if you don't speak Malay. As long as you have basic English, you'll be fine. Everyone speaks English here. Um, and the thing is, reason why I speak Malay, I mean, sorry, the reason why I speak English. Number one, I speak English at work, but I teach in an international college, so most of my colleagues comes from different countries. I have colleagues from Ghana. I've got colleagues from Malaysia. I've got colleagues from New Zealand, from the UK. So I have colleagues who are from different countries. So it makes sense for us to converse when we're at work in English because then everybody understands what we're talking about. Um, I converse in English to my students because all the subjects that I'm teaching is taught in English. So I talk to them in English whether I'm teaching, and I make sure they keep speaking in English when we're not teaching because it helps them practice. And
So
as I mentioned, we speak English at home.
really, with your husband?
We mix it to Manglish.
I'm English. Okay. There is two different questions for me, but I'll answer later for
Okay.
how they can improve their English when they are living in Malaysia.
How do you
I,
suggest foreigners to learn English in Malaysia? Um, I think Malaysia is very similar to Brunei in terms of that quite a majority of people that actually also speaks English. A lot of the time, what helps would be speak in English. Whether you think your English makes sense or not, just speak in English. Just feel. A lot of people don't speak English because they're not confident if their English is correct or not. There's no right or wrong. We're all learning, right? So if try to speak in English to your friends that who you're working with, who you're studying with, then if they're better English speaker, if they're good friends, they'll help you correct it. And that's how you learn. They'll tell you, oh, actually, this is how you say it. You're not saying it that way. And you know, it does, if you don't try, then you wouldn't know and you wouldn't learn. So you have to try. And from there you could improve yourself.
Uh,
Um when
I,
when I was mhm.
Go ahead, go ahead. You can read it. I'm fine. Actually,
um
I really want to know more. I mean, when you were in United Kingdom, what was
mhm.
your main concern about being a foreigner in an English-speaking country? Because you're a foreigner. I mean, I was in the
Yes, I
United States,
am.
so it was my second language. I was not
Yeah.
the local. So, I mean, what was your main concern? Yeah, just learn it and just go directly to your home and just enjoy your life as much as
Yeah.
you can. And what was it? I mean, what was your main concern?
My main concern was that they didn't understand me, but and my main concern was that so sometimes when you get nervous and you just forget all the English words in your mind. Um, but yeah, my main concern was I was afraid that they didn't understand me, so I could understand them and I understand what they were talking about, but I was afraid that they wouldn't be able to understand me. So what I did was I think well, one of the things that I did when I was in uni, especially when I was in uni, I pretty much just went all out. I just spoke in English whether I was confident or not. Whether I was, even if I wasn't sure if I was saying the right sentence or not, I would just say it because, like I said, when you practice it and and you practice on a daily basis, you improve yourself. And the people who you speak with, if they're a better English speaker, they will help correct if you speak it slightly wrongly.
I'm just typing a question and I changed
Okay.
my. I'm going to ask you one.
No worries, no worries.
Um, so actually, when was your first time you
Mm-hmm,
immersed yourself into English language? Because sometimes when you're in another country, you may
mm-hmm,
have difficulties. So
mm-mm.
immersing yourself, how can be easier for you? Like listening music, adapting the play,
Yeah.
or just study and come back to your country and speak with international people. I mean, you should learn this, but how? I mean, like how you immerse yourself, how you expose yourself with the language.
Um, just be really go into the culture, especially. I mean, for your first part of your question, when was I first exposed to English language? You know, I uh TV, radio as a young kid, even before going to school, you watch TV which is in English, you listen to radio which is in English, and that would be my first exposure. Um and I think even nowadays, like for a lot of children in Brunei, their first exposure to English, it's TV. You get kids TV, you get baby TV, which is speaking in English, and a lot of these children here are starting to speak English before they're learning it in school or before they even understand what it means. So I think that was my first exposure.
Hmm.
What was the second part of your question?
Immerse in the same thing. Actually, the thing when you didn't good speak English, how
Yeah.
British people react. I mean, it's
Um,
really important.
to be honest, they were really supportive. Like, obviously, from how I look like, they knew English wasn't my first language. Like,
Yeah,
they knew I was an English speaker. So a lot of the time, people, if for example, um, they would be understanding. If they didn't understand what I said the first time, they'll ask me to repeat it, and they'll help. They are really helpful in trying to understand what you're saying. And I went, especially my lecturers, my teachers when I was in school. I mean, when I was in university, if they didn't understand, especially when we did presentation in school, and I would say a sentence or a phrase which didn't make sense, So what my lecturer would do was like ask me to keep repeating it until he understood what I meant, and then he will correct me. He will say, "Oh, this would be a better way for you to say it. This would be a better way for you to make people understand you better." And that's how I learned. They were really helpful in, helping me improve myself. And it wasn't just my lecturer. I mean, everyone in general understood that English wasn't my first language. So if I made mistakes, then, as long as they understood what I wanted or what I was asking for, then they will help me to it. Am I afraid of making mistakes in English? No. I still make mistakes.
Or,
I still make a lot of mistakes.
um,
Oh,
I want to add one little thing.
yeah,
In
no worries.
people, for example, if you want to improve your English, you have to make mistakes, and you can see what other people are reacting. So you can see
Mm-hmm.
if you can do it or not. You should try it actually, which is
Yeah.
very important that you should try. Second one, to remember that we learn our native language with no help. We just listen and repeat it
Mm.
and repeat it. Also, it's a natural way. So, and I studied in the United States, and in my trial, it is giving help of that. If you
Mm-mm.
learn any other language, second language or third language, it's not important. You can learn it like a natural way. You
Yes.
learn like your native language. So it's not
Yeah.
important if you make mistakes or not. For example, I have a 5 years old nephew. He's speaking lovely Turkish. Sometimes he's saying something English words. I'm asking, where did you get this word? He said,
Mm-mm.
from from you,
Yeah.
from somebody. I'm asking something about, a simple or silly question. He's answering,
Mm-mm.
and he's not telling me anything. Oh, I don't know. He's just saying it. And I'm asking if there's any problem to explain. I know it. He says, I
Yeah.
know it. Everything I ask, he knows everything. He says, know it, I know it. So
Such a clever boy.
he's a good boy, yes, he's a clever boy. And today I asked him, let's play. And I said, well, you have to take a shower. You were out. I said, why? Oh, there's coronavirus. I said, why I should, I was going to take a shower because I was in front
Mm-mm.
of the bed. And I said, ya teyze means aunt. Teyze, go, ya, virus everywhere, virus. This nobody because we just listen, mother, father, sister,
Yes.
other people that they repeat the same thing. If
Mm.
say it once, I mean maybe next time he's going to say it. I'll
Yes.
give another example. He was outside, let's say uh, 10 months ago. He was playing outside. One man said, I am so angry. We have a, phrases for this. Tepem atma. Like, your hat is just throwing somewhere. It means you are so angry. So he said that, teyze, I'm so angry. What happened? I heard it from somebody. So we should be careful what we are listening, which is very important, I guess. So
Yeah.
today, from our program, the people asked me, please just give us some clue from your, background, your experience, and what you share. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to listen more, and then, for example, watching TVs, movies are helping a lot, which is very
Yeah.
important. So
That
these
is
are
very true.
they are the real life. Okay, when we just watch them, we understand the reality. So we should speak this language. It's the international word. That's why we are friends. If I don't speak this,
Yes.
How could
I
I?
speak Malay, you speak Turkish, and we're still connecting because we both speak English.
We don't share nationality. We don't share, the relations,
No,
and we have good communication because of the
yeah,
language. So I
definitely,
believe
definitely.
it's a tool to contact with people, to share things, to
Yeah,
find a job, to get
it,
a good relationship. Because sometimes
definitely.
they're asking me if they go to another country. I mean, they can, date with girl or boy. I mean, it's also important, I guess, to, dating and finding their partner in international language. It's not, it's normal. It's online things. Anyone in the world meet people. So I mean, so you came back to your country and then you start to work. And then in your country, did they ask you if you're speaking this language, I mean English or not? Or did they examine you or did they ask you to, show your performance in English or anything happened? Because they have to see how talented you are, how you have English
Yes.
speaking.
Yes, they do. So basically, after graduating, when I got back to Brunei, Brunei is very strict about your qualification, especially in terms of being able to speak English. It depends on the job actually, where you apply in. So I have they would check all my qualification in English. So I explained to them that I did my master's in English. And I did it in the UK, and it's taught in English. I did my degree in the UK, and it's taught in English. And that it doesn't stop there. They'll still check my past previous work if I passed English. So in Brunei, we take the GCE O levels and the A levels, which is a British qualification certificate, and you're required to take these exams. And one of the subjects that you are required to take is in English. And to get a job, like a good job in Brunei, they make sure you pass both English and Malay, which thankfully I passed.
What things change in your life? I mean, when you're in United States, I'm sorry,
United Kingdom.
United Kingdom. If they are united, what can I do?
Yeah, they're both united.
So when you were in the United UK, let's say UK,
Hmm.
when you were in UK and after UK, what things change in your life? Like, mentally, as a capital, you got the power to use in your.
Mm. I mean, a lot of change. I mean, it's a big different from, if you just look at the map, we're one end of the map and they're the other end of the map. So there was a big difference, and a lot of things change. For one of the things, it's you had to go back to what you were used to. Like culture change, even though it was going back to my normal culture, but because I was there for so long, studying there for so long, there was a culture change and I had to adapt to it. um Maybe not when I was in uni. One thing I remembered, when I was a little girl. So we lived in the UK for 5 years. When I got back to Brunei, this story I remember because I think it's funny. So at one point, I was with my grandma, and my grandma doesn't speak English that much. And I was staying with her while my parents were away, and I was trying to get her to cook me sunny side up, so sunny
Oh,
side up eggs. And because I didn't speak Malay so much because I was in the UK for quite a while, I didn't know how to explain to her what sunny side up was in Malay. I totally forgot. So my dear poor grandma had to cook so many different types of egg until I found out what I wanted. So I kept on telling her, no, I want the one with the yellow, and then there's the white. And she boiled me eggs, she helped me fry an egg, and it still wasn't the right one. So in the end, I think I remember I told her, like, oh, it looks like this, it's white and then this yellow, that's what I want. So in the end, I got my sunny side up. So those are the things that change, you know. So in the UK, once, because I was living there for quite a while, I got used to speaking in English. And then all of a suddenly I go back home, and even though, a majority of people, especially the younger ones, do speak English, however, some of the older generation don't speak English as much, or they don't understand English as much, such as my poor grandma. So it was, I had to adapt to try to communicate. um that was one of the main challenges after going back, because I was just so used to speaking in English. um Changes such as cultural change, that's normal. All of a suddenly you change in terms of culture, work culture. Communicating culture is very different here. First you're in the UK, and then you're in Brunei, and it's a Muslim country, and all of a suddenly there's cultural in terms of religious. So it was a big change. But you adapt to it. You learn to adapt by observing, by kind of being patient and doing things little by little.
What about food? Because I know
Food.
there was a no, I mean, huge, I mean, it was disaster for the food when I
Mm-hmm.
was in the UK. What about you? I mean, you have, I mean, in UK there are international food you eat out, and you can also cook. It's almost same. The food, the cuisine is almost same United States and UK.
um Actually, in the UK, for those who are wanting to study in the UK, it's not bad. They actually have quite a lot of restaurant with different cuisine. And being a student, I didn't really go out much. Being a student meaning you don't have the money to go out much. So I actually tried to cook a lot when I was there.
I want to ask you. You
Yes.
try Turkish food, okay, in Turkey. So what is the
Mhm.
difference Malaysian food and Turkish food?
I felt that Turkish food was more healthy.
Really?
Compared to Brunei food, Turkish food is quite healthy.
Oh,
Brunei
thank
food,
you.
it's true, it's true. Brunei, if you Google Brunei food, I think it's very similar. Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia, we have very similar food, and our food tends to be a lot of salt. It's a lot of oil. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's cooked. A lot of it is fried. So when I was in Turkey, a lot of the time when I was eating the food, I felt it was like, oh, I'm eating very healthy. I was eating egg with honey. I was having bread in the morning. Usually, I would have a huge bowl of nasi goreng, fried rice in the morning if I was if I was in Brunei.
Okay, actually, I want to learn one more thing about
Mm-hmm.
uh, when you work with international people in Brunei.
Yes.
So all speak English, and then you nobody has speaking English fear, I guess.
What was that? Sorry.
Nobody has speaking English fear in
No.
Brunei.
Not when you're speaking in English on a daily basis. You're just so used to it.
Yeah,
Like I said, everyone is a mixture from different countries, right? And even though for some of us, for my friends, let's say I have colleagues from Malaysia, I have colleagues from India, I have colleagues from Africa. Even though English might not be their first language, but we were so used to it, we're so accustomed to speak English that it becomes a more comfortable language to speak in. I mean, even for me personally, if I was to do a presentation, I would feel more confident and I'll be more comfortable speaking in English than I do in Malay.
why people should speak English? Faya? Why? Why do you think so? Just
I
communication,
mean,
like
w-
getting.
I think it's one of those language where a majority of people do speak it. I mean, I know according to statistics, the world statistics, the largest spoken language it's Mandarin. It's very hard to learn Mandarin. I tried. So not yet. I'm not there yet, but
So
I should. I
you
should.
have,
After Turkish, then I'll learn Mandarin.
I
Um.
know Chinese a bit, by the way.
Oh, that's
You know,
good.
I Chinese people. No, the sound is so like a meowing, like the cat sound, like meow.
I have not yet
I mean, so
mastered
much learning.
Mandarin.
Okay,
Oh, your question. Sorry, going back to your question. I
no,
think
no,
English opens. Yes.
go ahead, please. I was
Okay.
just listening.
Um. Yeah, English opens a lot of opportunities. So one thing would be, making friends. Like when I started work, because I was exactly us. Us. We made friends. We met in Turkey. You were Turkish. I was Malay. I was Bruneian. We ended up being able to communicate because we both spoke English. Yeah, so making friends, networking, it really helps. Like, if for example, you work with people from different backgrounds, from different countries, speaking different language, a lot of the time, for a majority of companies, English would be the global language that is being spoken, that everyone knows how to speak, right? Especially here in Brunei. I'm not sure in any other country, but I would believe a majority of country would have, English as the global language, where everyone is able to speak that language, and it opens up, opportunities to make new friends. And it's not just making friends; it helps you open up to networking. Meeting new people for improving your career, right? Um, I always, kind of put myself out there, speak to new people, meet new people, understand what they do, because you never know. It opens up opportunities, job opportunities in the future. It opens up collaboration in terms of progressing in terms of your career. So I think it's very helpful. And another thing that has helped me, again, going back to COVID, I've seen a lot of courses available online, since COVID came up, since travel restriction and restriction of people moving around their own place. I've seen a lot of classes being conducted online, courses being conducted online, and the majority of these courses and classes that is being offered, the ones that I've seen are all English taught. They're English based classes, and you can take this opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to improve yourself personally.
Actually, I want to tell you one of my stories. I was one
Yes.
student,
Oh.
uh, 2010. The one, uh, the person was uh, uh, next to me. I mean, I was
Mm-hmm.
just reading a book. It was Turkish book actually. I was just thinking myself, what can I do in UK? I have 5 days, and then she started to tell me, "You are Turkish, right? Okay. How long you will stay?" I didn't say anything, but that's my luck, I guess.
Yeah.
She said, "You're okay. Your visa is going to expire, so you should do something." I said, "Well, I will just go and just enjoy my holiday." No, no, it's not going to be like that. I said, "What happened? Why you think like that?" And she said, "No, you are coming alone and you have a big backpack and you are just paying 5 days. Come on, you should find something reasonable things to tell them." She
Mm.
wants everything about how I can pass the custom area, the visa control, and everything.
Wow.
And then I finally passed that, and now we still see each other. I mean, she's typing me now. She's living in Cuba. She was British, but she helped me, and now we still see each other. It's so amazing that she helped through it, helping me to just get
Yeah.
in. border because there is a big gap in front of me. They were
Mm-mm.
going to ask me many questions. Why I'm visiting United
Yes.
Kingdom? How long will I stay? Where will I stay? Which transportation will I use? And what's
Mm.
the purpose of my visit? That's the main question.
Yeah.
And that she just taught me everything 10 years ago. It was not my first visit to Europe, but she just prepared me for
That is
just
so nice.
and she just told me, when you just landed, just I'll be waiting you outside, okay? No worries. And I said, oh my God, what a lucky person I am. And then what happened is just language help. She
Yes.
said, okay, you were just reading, and then I told you you're Turkish, you don't look British. Like, she just tried to help me. I was, I did was my lucky day, I guess. I mean, just imagine that. You have no idea about
Mm-hmm.
anything. So this person helped me. One day I was visiting Egypt. So I was about
Yeah.
to travel. And one person said that, well, you are going to Egypt. I said, well, I want to just visit relatives. And then he said, no, come on. There's a war there. You can't go. And I said, okay. Then I was so surprised because he was um, not Egyptian, but I was just thinking too, where can I go? I have those
Yeah.
thoughts in my mind, and one came and helped me. For just imagine that if I didn't meet with that guy, if he didn't speak English,
Yes.
I I mean, I don't want to tell, but in Egypt there must be some problem. I didn't
Mm.
know. I mean, think this because I was not aware of it. Okay, I
Oh.
understand, but language is not only the help for the business. Maybe
Yeah.
it's also helping you to maybe survive, maybe to finding another opportunities and opening
Definitely.
doors. I guess. This is what I
Definitely.
and English in all of my life, not about teaching it. It's also creating new interland for yourself. Just the
Mm.
environment, business, network, and other things are really meaningful for me. I mean, you can create meaningful things, even though you can
Definitely.
things in English. You can find anything available, whatever you are looking for. For example, I'm a curious person. I'm looking for something curious, about my curiosity. So if you follow your curiosity, like you can give us example. So you are learning this help of English. Not
Mm-mm.
maybe your own language can be helpful, but you can find thousands of documents available on the internet.
Definitely. Yeah. The internet is an amazing thing.
So English is not the only language, I guess. It's
Yeah.
the owner for everything.
It is. It really helps a lot. I mean, it connects you to people. It's
Cool.
not just it connects you to people because you have something in common. You are able to communicate with each other. You're able to understand each other and help out each other, and it's really helpful.
Well, I think time is up. Oh,
Yeah.
two times. Any questions? I think there are some questions and they are posting,
Yes,
but
and have
so
I Nanying asking, do you agree on the fact that Malaysian learning English quite easily in comparison to other Asian country has anything to do with Malaysia being an ex-US colony? Not necessarily. I mean, uh, Brunei is a ex-British colony too. Um,
uh,
I think it's just, it might it does I think in it's very similar. It does help that if the education system does support English language, but I believe everyone has, has kind of, if they find a way on how to learn English, like we talked about earlier, you by listening, by repeating, by trying to imitate how other people are saying it, I think they can also learn English quite easily.
Well, it's not about, I think, country. It's all
Mm,
about target. I mean, if you
yes,
target to learn it, it's okay. I mean,
definitely.
uh, well, thank you so much for
No
this
worries. It was a
and
pleasure to speak to you. I hope to speak to you again. And I'll be in touch with her because I need to learn Turkish from her. She's also helping me learn Turkish.
well, you know that I love the language part, and I
Mm-hmm.
love not transferring or translating. I love the usage form. For
Yeah.
example, I always mention that. Please do
Mm-mm.
not translate it in your mind only. Just learn how you can use it. So the
Yes.
usage is very, very important. Eh, I mean, I don't know who is listening right now, but I can't see it. But I just want to tell you that please learn how things are saying. Let's just learn how to say this one. Tamam.
Yeah.
All right. No, it's enough. Tamam means sometimes it's enough. No, no, tamam. Don't pour it. Okay. Or no, it's enough. Or sometimes tamam is completed.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes tamam is if you're sure about something, you say tamam. So we use different things. For example, we say ellerine sağlık, okay?
Mm-mm.
Uh, it means that thank you for your effort or cooking or something. We have
Ah.
sağlık. So in English, there is no, we can translate it, but we can say in a different way. We can say
Mm.
that thank you for the lunch. Thank you for your effort. Thank you
Yeah.
for your help. Or thank you for giving me help. Something like that. I think one more question.
With the phonic, very American.
But they like American, I guess. So
Yes.
thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
everybody
And
listening
thank
us,
you for those tuning in, definitely. Any
thank you.
questions, do please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer you.
Well, people love American phonetics. I mean, it's so funny. I think no questions, I guess. Maybe they are
That's
driving
fantastic.
home.
Most likely, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Again,
so much. We'll talk to you soon.
thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.